Sadhguru, one question I have for you, and this is relevant not just to the smaller and medium enterprises, probably more relevant to them, but also to the biggest corporates that I interact with. The one word that you keep hearing again and again is the inability to attract the right talent or to retain the talent. You have a lot of youth as your followers. It's a very restless generation. It's also a generation which probably has very different perceptions.
Not mine.
No, I'm talking about the youngsters.
No, the youngsters who come to me, they're
You
not the
sort them
restless
out.
ones.
All right, you sort them out, but I'm talking in general. It's restless. Its definition of loyalty is very different. It's not like, you're sitting on a certain position, so I'm going to be loyal to you or I'm going to respect you. And this seems to be one of the biggest problems today that corporate India is facing, and most certainly, the smaller and medium companies are facing, because it all boils down to how much money are you going to be paying me, what ESOPs are you giving me, etc., etc. What is your advice?
I think they must come and study how ISA Foundation works, because I don't pay any of the people who work for me. They're all volunteers. Most of them are young. Almost all of them are young. And they are not restless. We were conducting a…
I was talking about corporate India. I wasn't talking about you.
I was conducting a two-day event for one of the top corporates in the world. Top 25 people of this corporation were there with us, and I had about 9 volunteers. They were 25, we had 9 volunteers doing things around me. So they observed these people, how they work, with the vigor and the zest with which they're going about, the efficiency with which everything is happening around us. They watch this, and I'm sure these people are always people who are looking for attrition from elsewhere. So they said, Sadhguru, where do you find these people? I said, you don't find them, you got to make them. How do you make them? I said, you have to make them fall in love with you. How do you do that? I said, first you have to fall in love with them. They said, oh, they don't pay us for that.
But you're saying, in simple words, that's what it all boils down to?
Yes.
Great leaders are those who are able to…
Your involvement. You're not looking at life as to what you can extract. A leader is somebody who is looking at how he can offer something that nobody else can offer to him. Instead of that, you're thinking how to extract. If somebody is extracting something from you, how long will you stay there? Only as long as you're helplessly there, isn't it? The moment you have another opportunity, you're gone.
Right.
So, a leader should understand that he must have something to contribute to everybody's life. His life should be an offering. This does not mean he does not have to live his life. Life becomes enormously rich because your life is an offering. People understand only if you take, you can make things happen. See, from what you get, you can make a living. It's only by what you give, you can make a life. So you're just making a living, that's not important. You make a life out of it, that's leadership. If you do not make a life out of it, there is no leadership. People will be with you only as long as they're helplessly stuck with you. The moment they have another opportunity, they will go. And they should go.
Finally, Sadhguru, since we're talking about entrepreneurship, one of the very interesting growing trends that we've seen is social entrepreneurship. Across the world, we've started seeing seeds of that even in India. How do you see that? Because typically or traditionally, the thought process was that it's charity and it's about giving away. But we've seen some examples, and we've been, documenting some of them even on our channel, that you can actually do good socially and yet be self-sustaining. Do you see that as a growing trend?
What I have to say may not be liked by most people because people are thinking of doing good. See, thinking of doing good is you're trying to do something that you believe is good. What I'm saying is, as I said earlier, if you craft your businesses around the life, because business is about serving life, it's not the other way around. Life is not about serving business or commerce. Commerce and business is about serving life, isn't it? If this is the fundamental, you don't have to think of doing good. Whatever you do will be naturally good. Because if you… see, whatever you do, for example, whether you produce a safety pin, or you produce a computer, or you produce a safe spacecraft, in some way, it is useful to somebody, isn't it? The question is only the context. Whatever anybody is manufacturing or selling, whether it's a piece of cloth or a safety pin or the highest level of technology, all this is useful. It is just that the person who is offering it is not seeing it that way. He is only thinking about what he can get. So what is needed is not change of what we are doing. We don't have to change what we are doing. We have to change the context of what we are doing. This should not there should not be something as social entrepreneurship and other entrepreneurship. All entrepreneurship is essentially to serve human well-being, isn't it? Does it mean you don't make profit? You make profit because you want to serve more. Actually, that's what is happening anyway, isn't it? As you grow your business, you're serving more and more people. Why don't you do with that context? If you do it with that context, doing business would be a phenomenally beautiful experience. Otherwise, it's a big tension. I see most successful people are tense. I see generally successful people are suffering life a lot more than not so successful people.
I wish you all the best for Inside Sadhguru and hope to see you there, and hopefully this journey will probably continue and we'll be able to, through you,
The
convey
idea
this
is to
message
give them all an insight that they don't have right now.
Thank you very much, Sadhguru, for joining us.